There is, what the economists will call the macros, like what you said about tax to GDP ratio,
Right.
debt service to revenue ratio. Those big issues
Right.
are very important. But guess what? To the ordinary person, they mean nothing.
Doesn't mean
They mean absolutely nothing.
Yes.
So, but the way to always start is you start with the macros. If we were printing a lot of naira to spend,
Yeah.
in the past administration, over 30 trillion naira was printed. If you add the interest to it, I've seen some commentaries here and there about, oh, this government has borrowed more than all the previous governments since 1999 combined. People just got the calculations wrong,
I guess also because of the devaluation of
Yeah, so there were two major issues. One is the devaluation of the naira.
Yeah.
We had a debt, external debt of about $46 billion before this president came on board.
Right.
At the time that we were deceiving ourselves that the exchange rate was 460. So just imagine you take $46 billion, translated at 460, and now at about 1.5. That's more than 1,000 per dollar. That's already about 48 trillion naira added to it, not because anybody borrowed anything.
Yeah.
And then the amount that the Buhari government printed for us to spend,
Right.
it was securitized, but it wasn't added to the public debt. So I knew, because I had the opportunity to share. I had the opportunity to share a debt roundtable for West Africa under NESG. Okay. So we did all these analysis. So one of the issues we had raised was Nigeria needed to be honest in making sure their reporting is complete. It shouldn't be owing 50 and be reporting 30. So all those things were added. And that's how we now have proper reflection of our debt, but then they are blaming it on the president. Anyway,
that's how it goes.
Once you're a leader, you have to accept everything that they throw your way. But the point is, at that macro level, we're no longer printing money to spend. Our debt service to revenue ratio was as high as 97% in 2022. In fact, it's almost like it's unreal that in just 2 years, you brought it down from almost 100% to under 50%.
Oh, it's now under 50%.
Under 50%. The tax to GDP ratio was under 10% just 2 years ago. At the end of 2024, we are 13.5. I don't know of any country where they've done it so quickly like that. But all of that are macros. And here is where the good news is. These tax laws that have been signed by Mr. President, we have this 6 months for us to get ready. It's a lot of work to do in 6 months. And when that kicks in January 2026, people will now see the micro. Now, the micro is where, the ordinary person on the streets, the household, the low-income earner, the small business owner, that is where they will see the real impact. So by the end of January, a low-income earner would collect their salary and the net pay would have increased. Whether the employer increases salary or not.
Because the taxes were down.
Because the taxes were. We've actually eliminated it for low-income earners completely.
Anything below 250,000 or thereabout?
Yeah, that's for a household. So because our data shows that about 2 people work in a household of 5. So as an individual, around 110,000, you will not pay any tax per month. And then if you earn about 2 million or less in a month, you see a reduction in your tax. You still pay, but it will be less. If you now earn more than 2 million, you see incremental amount. It might be 500 naira per month, 300 naira, but it will increase. If you earn a lot, like 1 billion a month, you pay 25%. Which is the right thing to do.
Most of them have not been paying.
They've not been paying for so long. God bless you. This is the aspect of it that is actually very painful for me, that the poorest people have been carrying the country. It's almost like we should just declare a holiday for them and let the rich people also now play their own part.
And that's why I raised the issue about, although I wanted to finish, that was why I raised the issue about wealth consumer. But I'll let you make a point.
Yes. So the other thing that the Nigerian people will feel immediately from January 26 is when you go to buy food, the prices should drop. Why? Because we've removed VAT completely on food. Unfortunately, it's a technical issue that people don't very much understand. Today, that is before our new laws, food is exempt from VAT.
Yeah.
What that means is if bread is exempt, when I produce bread and I sell to you, I should not charge you VAT on the bread.
Yes.
That's what we have today. But that story is not complete because what it means is, as a baker making the bread, did I not buy things that have VAT? Yeah. You know, I have a vehicle to deliver the bread. It has VAT. I'll make phone calls. I buy airtime with VAT. I buy sugar. Sugar carries VAT.
Even your generator.
My generator, you know,
So are
even
you
the bakery itself. So all of that VAT that I incur, I have to bear it as a baker. But guess what I would do? I would do my calculations of what's the cost of a bread, and those hidden VAT costs will be part of what I sell to you. You will not see VAT when I sell you bread, but there's hidden VAT that I cannot recover. What we have now done is we've changed that. We've turned bread, for example, to zero rated VAT. What that means is when I sell to you, I should charge you VAT at zero, which is there's no VAT. But if I have incurred any VAT in producing the bread, I'll get it back from the government. So it's a huge improvement.
That is significant. But the point is that, you know, so how do you do the calculation? I guess there has to be a lot of workshops and how to take people through.
No, it's actually simple. It's just that we haven't done it in Nigeria before. And this is part of the capacity, awareness, readiness that we're going to be doing. There's a lot of activity we're going to do with the tax officers, with the tax consultants, professional bodies, even the business people, because we can do this thing that you may not know as a baker that we've done it. You just continue with business as usual, you know. So we do all those sensitization will happen in the next 6 months. And the way it happens is anytime you buy anything, we've also designed in this new law something we call electronic invoicing and fiscalization. Anytime you issue an invoice and you follow the system the government has developed, it will capture the data.
So it will be digital.
It will be digital. You don't have to do anything, just like using your POS to print invoice.
To central database.
To go to a central database, you see how much VAT government is owing you. You can collect that money back within 30 days.
So that by the time the baker is making the claim, the FRS is aware.
Absolutely.
So it's not that somebody is going to...
It's very transparent. Yeah, it's a very transparent. So what we are now hoping would happen is... No, it is. It is. We've never done it before in Nigeria. So what we are hoping would then happen is the person selling bread, because they want to sell more, if their cost has gone down, they will try and share it with the customer. So let's keep half of the profits, hopefully. But if they don't, my brother, you know, that same capitalism will correct it, but not immediately. Because what will happen is it will suddenly become very profitable to be a baker. Then more people want to be bakers, and then there will be oversupply of bread.
Over time. let's just urge them
to reduce the price.
But this is quite exciting.
Yes. So, and then to the other points you made about people hiding their income, yes, that's quite common. To be honest, not only in Nigeria, it's common everywhere. The reason why it's more rampant in Nigeria than many other countries is because of the system in Nigeria allows you to do it and get away with it. You go and do it in the UK, US, Germany, you get into trouble.
If they catch
you. We were discussing with the revenue guys from France. Those guys are amazing. They have one of the highest tax to GDP ratios in the world, over 40%.
France.
And they were bragging to us that if there's tax to collect, they collect it. Like, this is not supposed to be a discussion point. Like, we just collect taxes.
Wow.
You know, they do so well. So they're sharing some of their learnings with us as well. And some of the things they had done are the things we're trying to do now. So when people earn, they can hide their income. But when they spend, they cannot hide it. And whether the source of the income is legitimate or not, people spend. So that spending, we're going to link it up to create an intelligent system. You know, you go to the mall, you buy, even if you trade in cash, you buy a car, right? You buy a phone, you load credit, you build a house, you connect to electricity. So that intelligence is already in the system. We just were not connecting the dots. We want to get to a point in the next couple of years where we'll come to you and tell you how much income you've earned. We will not be asking you anymore.
Wow.
So it will be hard for anybody to hide.
Of course, I mean, so I lived in the US for 17 years.
Exactly.
So I understand exactly how it is that, you know, there's no point for you lying about your income because everything is, there's a paper trail
of everything.
You know, so you're saying that's the kind of thing that's
the kind of thing we are. In fact, what we are developing is also going to help us fight like corruption. In the US, for example, the IRS, there's a requirement that if you steal anything, you must disclose it.
Yeah. In fact, it's the way they catch thieves,
exactly.
They say that he didn't pay tax.
Yeah, because you see, whether it's
they call it
legitimate or no, you have to pay tax first. Not declaring it for tax is a problem.
Exactly.
And if you declare it for tax, we don't have intelligence after collecting tax to go after you to say, where did you get the money from? So this is really very transformational for our country if we just, faithfully implement it.
How were you able to manage the political resistance, especially, when the governors, were all out against it? I recall that there was a NEC meeting where a resolution was reached.
Yes.
The president sent the thing back. I personally felt that was an issue. I mean, I sat in NEC meetings for 8 years.
Yeah.
I never experienced a situation
like that.
where that kind of a resolution will come from NEC. I mean, if NEC were going to be critical, you wouldn't air in the public. So how did you manage, some of those intrigues, not being a politician?
I think I should give the bulk of the credit to Mr. President himself. Because like you said, I'm not a politician, but one thing I was able to do is to stay focused and to remain calm. There was no reason for me to get angry or to attack anyone. Even when people were attacking me personally, I didn't take it against them. So staying and playing to my strengths, which is the technical area, explaining the issues, the thinking behind it, and also remaining calm and staying focused was the role I played. Then the president, I would say, the one that managed the political aspect, because that was more than my pay grade.
Yeah. That's what I normally say too.
Yes.
That's above my
so like when NEC said withdraw the bills, the president said, no, I'm not withdrawing the bills. Yeah. So like that's not something I could have been able to do.
Of course.
And if he had withdrawn the bills, it won't happen in this administration again. It would be dead.
Yeah.
So he managed it, called the governors, and then, of course, there was a lot of work going on underground with the lawmakers. We were doing explaining. This was really a very tough one. That it happened in the period that it happened is almost like a miracle.
As we begin to wrap up because of our time, I also wanted to discuss with you. So, what about illicit financial flows? Is there anything in those new laws that can help us solve that problem? Because that's also a big place where a lot of monies are being, we're losing a bit.
Yeah, you're right. And some data for Africa, shows these things in tens and 50 billions of dollars or even more. And if you're going to... Annually. And if you're going to apportion that to countries, you can guess which country will rank number one.
Of course, we like this population.
So what we've done with the tax reform is we've made provisions for us to be able to track the flow of money. So part of it includes the bank doing reporting. Once you cross a threshold, they'll report on a monthly basis to the revenue authorities.
Okay.
Another part is being able to even plug to those systems directly. Another part is exchange of information, both locally and internationally. We have agreements signed with more than 100 countries.
Oh, already.
So
when was that done? Is it cumulative?
It's cumulative. Okay. It's been building on it. So we receive, like the places Nigerians like to go and hide money. They send us information. So we know the guys who have millions of dollars outside Nigeria.
Yeah.
Which is why I said we'll get to a point where we'll come and just tell you. You have
not paid your taxes.
You have not paid tax. So this is the amount of tax you're supposed to pay that you have not paid.
I'm waiting for that day.
Yes. So we think that will also help us curb illicit financial flows. It will help us reduce corruption. We're hoping that the National Assembly would also complement this reform effort with something like unexplained wealth order. So that you have more power of the law to deal with instances where people just throw money around and they can't explain the sources. So these tax laws will help us first and foremost collect taxes from illicit financial flows and then provide intelligence to try and stop it so that at least it can be reduced significantly.
So FRS, NRS now will have to also be doing some audits, on an annual basis to check what people are, because this normally happens in the US too, that, they have a percentage, not a lot, but there is that awareness that it can be audited.
Yes.
And is that also going to be part of it?
Yes, it's going to be part of it, but a lot of it will be done automatically by the system without any human intervention. So, for example, if you have a small business or a large business and you sell goods, that you're supposed to report VAT on it.
Yeah.
The system will capture the amount of sales you reported. It will capture everybody that bought from you. It will calculate 7.5% of VAT and compare with the amount you reported.
Yeah.
So that analysis happens everywhere. Like the income you reported versus all your spending, we're able to capture. If you're spending more than what you earn, so the system will flag it. We call it risk-based audit. So when the system flags that something is not adding up, those are the guys we audit.
Interesting.
So it can even be more frequent than annual. It can be monthly. The more non-compliant you are,